All right, welcome to our second orientation video for MAT 1033. So you should have just finished video number 1 where we left off talking about taking the pretest using HonorLock. And I just want to mention, just because it ties into that, you'll use HonorLock for this pretest here. And then in addition, throughout the course, every time you guys have a module exam, so the module 1 exam, the module 2 exam, all of the exams in the course, you'll be using HonorLock. I just want to mention that will be used throughout the course. And also when you get to the final exam will require HonorLock as well. So pretest, module exams, and the final exam. All right, so I still just want to kind of go over the week 1 schedule. So we've talked about your June 30th due date, so everything in this required initial assignment, which we've already talked about. So that's your first due date. We talked about these help buttons here. And then your second due date on Thursday, July 1st, will be Scavenger Hunt 1. So every Thursday of all the weeks that you're in the class, you'll have a scavenger hunt due. And these are worth points. It's worth a small amount of credit, honestly, toward your grade, but they're really there to help you guys. So this first one, for example, after you complete your first round of Module 1 assignments, it teaches you how to go in and review assignments in MyLab Math, because it's not actually so obvious. They make it a little tricky. So this just walks you through how to review assignments so you can see what you got right and what you got wrong. I give, screenshots, very specific instructions, so hopefully you find them easy to follow. So every Thursday, you guys will have a scavenger hunt due. This Thursday will be your first one on Thursday, July 1st. And then on Friday, you'll have your remaining Module 1 assignments due. And in terms of the schedule, a good spot to look is, we talked about the syllabus tab before. If you go to your course syllabus, and of course you guys are going to read these at home, but I just want to point out that at the very end, if you scroll all the way down, I've got the schedule for the course. So this is one good spot to view your course schedule. So these are those due dates for week 1 that I just mentioned, and then week 2 it kind of starts all over again. So in general, just so you guys are familiar with the pattern for every week, so during week 1, you'll complete module 1, and then at the beginning of week 2, your module 1 exam will open up on Sunday, and then it will be due Tuesday. So you can take it anytime on Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday. So you have a 3-day window for your module exams. So due Tuesday, every Tuesday, your module exams are due. Wednesday, you'll start a module. Friday, you'll finish a module, and then in between every Thursday, you'll have a scavenger hunt due. So Wednesdays and Fridays are your module, homework, and quiz assignments. Thursdays are your scavenger hunts, and then your module exams will be due every Tuesday. So I wanted to keep it consistent every week so that you guys kind of have that schedule in your head. So I just wanted to point that out. So there's a schedule here in the syllabus, or when you guys get back into Canvas, there's a calendar option where it will give you the due dates automatically. And since we're here at the bottom of this page, I just also want to reiterate that a due date, D-U-E, is different from a due date, D-O. Just because something is due on Wednesday, that doesn't mean that's when you should start doing that assignment. So the homework and the quizzes, they're all open from day 1. You can do every single homework assignment for the course in this first week if you want to. It'd be a whole lot of work, but you can work on those early. The only things that you can't work on early are those exams because they're open only during those fixed windows. But otherwise, you can work on scavenger hunts early. You can work on homework assignments early, quizzes early. So I encourage you guys to complete that early just to really stay ahead of the due dates. As I mentioned before, usually it's not the math that's so tricky for people, honestly, in this course. It's just the schedule and keeping on top of due dates. So wherever you can, stay ahead of those. So I just wanted to mention that in this syllabus. I also wanted to pull up the FAQs page. And again, you guys hopefully will read this all the way through and refer to it throughout the course because, you'll forget a bunch of stuff from week 1. So just know to come back here. So there are a lot of goodies in here, but I just try to think of the things that students ask me most often and just put them all in one place. So it's just a little 2-page document. One thing, just because there are different types of assignments, so I thought this would be helpful just to organize assignments in a table. So certain assignments can be completed late. The homework and quizzes you can do, you can turn them in after the due date, but there is a 15% late penalty applied. And one question that I get a lot about the quizzes, because you have unlimited attempts at the quizzes. So let's say you have a quiz due Friday. So if you complete the quiz on, Friday afternoon and you get a 75%, that meets the 70% minimum, you have a 75, that's great. If you want to attempt it again to get a higher score, you can take the quiz on Saturday, but at that point, the 15% late penalty will be applied. So you could still get an 85%. It's worth taking it again, but I just want to point that out. Any attempts before the due date, you'll get full credit, whatever you earn. Any attempt after the due date gets hit with that late penalty. And I do always save your highest attempt. That goes across the board. So I'll only keep your highest attempt if you take something multiple times. Quizzes, module exams, and final exams are all timed. You only get one attempt at module exams in the final exam. Homework and quizzes are unlimited. And there are minimum scores for different assignments, 85 for the homework, 70 for the quizzes. And then when you get to the final exam, a 60% minimum. And then quizzes, you do not use honor lock, but any module exams or the final exam, you do use honor lock. So I just wanted to mention that in terms of late penalties and what you're allowed to do late and what you can't do late. Module exams and final exams, you cannot turn in late. You have to do them by the due date. If they're not submitted by the due date, they're a 0 and that's it. So make sure that you do those exams on the early side of that 3-day window that I give you guys, just so if anything goes wrong, we have plenty of time to fix it. Something else I want to mention to you guys, I get this one a lot. When you get into the homework, you'll maybe get every single question correct, but your score won't show an 100%. And that's because you also need to watch the lecture videos. So there are going to be videos embedded in each assignment, and those are actually part of your grade. So make sure you're watching those videos. We aren't in a class. I'm not in front of you doing examples, so that's the next best thing. So make sure you're watching those videos, and it's part of your grade. I mentioned the honor lock password, that you have to go through the honor lock setup, and then it will automatically fill in the password for you. You'll never know what the password is, but just keep that in mind. We talked about completing assignments in order, what you need to buy for the course, the access to MyLab Math, and then a scientific calculator. Just note that you can't use a cell phone on exams. And during honor lock, you will be recorded, so you'll need to have a calculator, not a phone. I mentioned to make sure you're checking announcements and Canvas messages regularly. Remember, there's the Help Me module if you want help. And, this is also another question I get a lot. In MyLab Math, it will show you an average in the gradebook. And then in Canvas, it also shows you an average in the gradebook, and they're going to be different scores. So which one is correct? The answer is your Canvas grade is your official grade. So that's your overall grade for the course. MyLab Math, for example, doesn't have your scavenger hunt assignments incorporated. I didn't even check the weightings in the MyLab Math gradebook, so I don't know how grades are balanced. So the weightings that you see in the syllabus will show up in Canvas, and then as you complete assignments in MyLab Math, those assignment scores will be imported throughout the week into Canvas. So Canvas is your official grade for the course. I just want to mention that. All right, let me see. I've got a little list of stuff that I wanted to talk to you guys about. Just checking my list. I think the only thing on my list that I forgot to mention, going back into the FAQs, I talked about late penalties, and I didn't include the scavenger hunts on here, but just note that for scavenger hunts, you can turn those in late. I grade them out of 5 points, and each day late, I would take 1 point off. So, if it's 1 day late, you can get a 4 out of 5, for example. So just forgot to put the scavenger hunts in there. All right, so with the time left in this video, I just want to keep walking you through Canvas, and then we'll pop back over into MyLab Math as well. So we already did the start here. We looked at Help Me. We saw these scavenger hunts, which will be due on Thursdays each week. And then I also listed each module here, so modules 1 through 5. So for example, if we go to, let's pop into module 2, just so you can see what these look like. So if I go into module 2, I remind you that the homework has an 85% minimum required, quizzes are at 70%, and just little, tips about things. 1 attempt for the module 2 exam. One thing that I do want to point out, this picture always gets messed up for some reason in this view. So if you guys go into the textbook, into the ebook, Module 2 doesn't line up with Chapter 2. So Module 2, for example, is sections from Chapter 3 and Chapter 4. So at the bottom of each module, I outline which sections in the book line up with that module. So if you guys want to use the book, which I definitely recommend, that will help you know where to navigate to. And then I always include, specific portions of the book that I think are helpful, chapter highlights, chapter tests. So be sure to check those out. And then clicking next, if you click here after you've enrolled into MyLab Math, it will take you into this assignments tab. So you can always just use that to get quickly into MyLab Math. So I included that link in every module. Also, if you see this in modules, again, students tend to ask me the same questions over and over. So what I started to do is, as someone asks me a question, I'll do like a screenshot or a PDF of my work and my reply to that student, and then I'll post it here. So if you see something like this, answer to student questions for a module, pop in there, because there's a good chance that your question has already been answered in really, really great detail here, showing my work and my process. When it comes to taking the Module 2 exam, or any module exam, I reminded you guys of what is and isn't allowed, what you can use during the test, what you cannot use during the test, that you have to use HonorLock, all this stuff. And then when you click next, it will take you to the link for the Module 2 exam. There's nothing to click because it's not open yet. It will open the Sunday before the week that it's due. So just a reminder about that. And then I encourage everybody, as you're taking your exams, you can use scratch paper. So show your work on scratch paper. It'll get you a better grade, just in general, showing your work, because you don't have to do stuff in your head. And then also you can scan your work and upload it here. This is an optional assignment, but then I can go through and maybe give you some partial credit if you showed really good work and then just made a little typo in your answer. So keep that in mind. I encourage you guys to show your work as you're going through. All right, so all the modules are pretty much laid out in that format here in Canvas. So I did the same thing, for Module 1, for Module 4, etc. So you'll see that optional, work submission at the bottom. And then there's a final exam tab. Once you get to this point, just be aware that I posted a final exam study guide. So it's never too soon to start. You can start poking around in those questions whenever you want. So that's there for you guys. And I just want to pop back into the MyLab Math page just to show you a couple of things before we wrap up this video. Let me see. If I go into a homework assignment, let me just do this one. And because I'm an instructor, I can skip that 85% requirement. So I just wanted to show you guys over here on the left, these are those videos that you need to watch to get 100% on your score. So 3 of your 18 points will be from just watching those videos. And then when you get into these actual questions, I just wanted to remind you guys that, obviously if you can answer it, that's fantastic. And then if you're struggling, there are these help buttons over here. If you try help me solve this and view an example and you're just getting really stuck and you've looked in Canvas and there's no solutions posted for that question, you can always use Ask My Instructor as well. That'll send me this exact question. And the more information you can give me in the text of that question, the more I can help you answer that question. So be specific, tell me what equation you set up, what answer you're getting, what you've tried. And, I can either write back or, send you a video or arrange a video call if it's really complicated or whatever you need. As you're completing your work, so assuming that you get, a question right, which I haven't done anything yet. Let's see, a number, so double the number would be 2x, double the number decreased by 28, should be that. Let's go ahead and check my answer. Yay, so I got it right. So now I have 1 point. I have a whopping 5.56%. I would save this if I want to quit and go back to it later. So just be aware that you don't have to do everything all at once. I recommend working in little chunks, saving your work, and then going back. All right, so I'll go ahead and stop the video. Please contact me with any questions you have, and good luck in the course.